All right, how about this one? Are you ready for some Punkin Chunkin? Maybe you never heard of it. Well, it's a huge event each year in Bridgeville, Delaware. Actually, close to my hometown there. Punkin Chunkin, it's the annual World Championship contest. You're not going to believe how advanced these guys are. Look at the equipment they're working with. Records every year. What was last year? 3,000 feet?
It was 3,800 feet last year, but the record was actually in 2003, 4,400 feet. And the first year they did this, it was 128 feet. So they've come a long, long way.
Wow. All right, we're going to show you some of the highlights as they get ready for the weekend-long competition. We're going to talk to the champion coming up in our next hour as well from last year. Stick around. We're going to be chucking some pumpkins. Still ahead.
Plus, ready, aim, fire. Woo! From cannon to catapult, live from the Punkin Chunkin Field of Dreams on this American morning.
Well, here's another story coming up that you just can't miss. What are you going to do with all your leftover Halloween pumpkins? Well, maybe you want to get in your car and head to Bridgeville, Delaware.
Boom! There they go. Looking at a catapult there, pretty fancy catapult as well. Tossing these things a few hundred yards, but they bring out the big artillery as well. The pumpkin cannons. They can go almost a mile. It's Punkin Chunkin in Delaware. We're going to take you there in just a few minutes. That story and the headlines when American Morning returns.
Welcome back to American Morning. Team Chucky. How about that? This is the annual Punkin Chunkin in Bridgeville, Delaware, where it's 41 degrees right now and 10 miles visibility.
That's perfect. You'll be able to see those pumpkins get chunked as far as they need to go. And some of them go the better part of a mile. Looking forward to that. Going to have more on that coming up in this half hour in American Morning.
It'll be interesting to see how this whole thing started. I'm sure it started with much less equipment than what we're seeing out there today. This is a virtual medieval arsenal to get those pumpkins launched. And we're going to be talking about it coming up in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, welcome back. Friday, November 2nd. I'm Kieran Gentry.
And good morning to you. I'm John Roberts.
Hey, how about this one? Instead of throwing out that Halloween pumpkin, maybe you just need to chuck it. How about a mile? It's what's happening today in Delaware. It's the annual Punkin Chunkin competition in Bridgeville. They have their catapults. They have their hats on. They have tons and tons of pumpkins just waiting to be thrown. We're going to see if 11-time winner can break his record this year. Coming up.
Before you chuck out that Halloween pumpkin, take a look at what's happening today in Delaware.
It's the annual Punkin Chunkin contest. It's huge for people in that area. I know because my husband hails from that area, and they love it every year. They go down there, man and machine, hurling pumpkins up to 4,000 feet and beyond.
Our next guest is an 11-time Punkin Chunkin champion, current president of the World Championship Punkin Chunkin Association. Frank Shade joins us now live from Bridgeville, Delaware. Frank, how big an event is this going to be this year?
Oh, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. We're expecting 50 to 70,000 people here over the next 3 days.
Wow, that's incredible. How many teams you got going here, and who are the ones to watch?
Well, we've got 109 teams on the field today, and the ones to watch are the big air cannon guys, I think. They make a lot of noise. But these boys behind me, Chucky too, with a torsion machine, they're putting them out there about 3,000 feet, so there's going to be a lot of competition also.
You know, Frank, it's interesting you mentioned these air cannons. So this event started back in 1986. How has what they've used evolved to what you're seeing today as they try to set these records each and every year?
Well, the original machines were made out of car parts and garage door springs and some tree limbs and stuff like that. And today we've got air cannons on the field that run upwards of $500,000 to build.
Wow, I guess
it's evolved, tremendously.
I guess the big cannon out there is the Second Amendment, which won last year. It also set the record back in 2003. Just describe for us, because we don't see it there in the background, what this machine consists of and how far can it throw a pumpkin?
Well, we really don't know how far they can throw. Like I said, the record is 4,434.28 feet. Basically, it's a large air tank that holds about 1,000 gallons of compressed air. It has a butterfly valve and then a barrel. It basically looks like a military weapon.
Wow.
Frank, that's interesting because you mentioned the exact. Yeah, we're gonna see a launch right here take place any second now. Just go ahead and launch it. We'll check it out. Meanwhile, who's on the other side? And Frank, how do you figure out?
Whoa.
There it goes. How do you figure out where that lands? Who's on the other side measuring?
Well,
Look at that. There it is.
We have a team of spotters on quads out on the field, and they watch us coming in, and they go to it. They mark it, and we use laser triangulation survey equipment to measure the exact distance.
Wow, this is all getting pretty sophisticated. How did this started back in 1986? How did it start?
Well, there were 4 guys sitting around a local blacksmith shop, and according to what legend you listen to, they basically challenged each other to see who could throw an anvil the farthest. That was too hard on their backs, so they decided to throw pumpkins. In this area, everybody can build a machine to do something, so they decided to build a machine to throw pumpkins. They threw down the blacksmith's hat. They all stomped on it and agreed to do it the Saturday after Halloween.
You know, the first record was 128 feet. It shows how far they've come.
It really has. And also, so that's what I was wondering. You know, if you're up against an air cannon and you're sitting there with an old catapult, obviously you're not going to have much of a competitive advantage. Do you break this up into different categories, Frank?
Yes, we do. The catapults and the trebuchets and the air cannons and the centrifugal machines all compete against similar machines. So everybody has a fair chance of winning their own class. To put this in perspective a little bit, that winning toss the first year of 120-some feet. Today we have cannons with barrels that range out to 140 feet.
Wow.
So they can just roll out the end of the barrel and beat that first record.
So the machines are bigger than the original throw. Hey, you're an 11-time champion. Are you still competing, or did you have to give that up when you became president of this association?
Well, I'm a member of the team, the Bad to the Bone team, which is an 11-time champion. And I did have to give it up 6 years ago when I became president. And I still keep my eyes on him a little bit, but I had a little conflict of interest there, so I had to step back.
Right.
You know, Frank, my in-laws are down there in Lewis. We know what a humongous event this is for locals every year out there in Sussex County. Why is it such a draw, though? You're talking about getting 50, 75,000 people out there to watch this.
Well, I think there's a number of reasons. I think basically it starts in childhood, because all little kids like to start by throwing food off their trays, then they go to rocks, they skip them in the water. I think it's just an innate thing that people want to see things fly, you know, and here's a pumpkin that's just laying there, wants something to do, so we're going to make it fly and have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be cruel to make pigs fly, so pumpkins, I think you can get away with. Frank, it's not only about the competition and seeing how far you can make a pumpkin fly, but you folks there at the Punkin Chunkin contest do some awfully good work there with money to charity, scholarships. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, every year we donate between $60,000 to $100,000 to local charities, and our favorite national charity is St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. We also do Autism Foundation and Cancer Society. We have a huge scholarship program where every year we award students, you know, scholarships that are deserving of it, and that usually ranges between 15 and 20 scholarships a year that we award to deserving students.
Wow.
And anybody basically steps up to the plate and needs our help, you know, we'll help them out.
That's pretty incredible. Hopefully we're going to get to see one more launch before we go here. Do we have any of them ready, Frank? Ready to go one more time?
I can't see them. They're all behind me, but I'm sure they can put one together real soon.
All right, we'll throw one off. Meanwhile, before we go, what are the prizes range? You know, what kind of monetary incentive if you win?
Well, actually, nobody wins any money at this event. They win a trophy if they win their class, a couple medallions, a hat that says they won. But the biggest thing every one of these chunkers is striving for is bragging rights for the next year, saying that they are a world champion.
All the pumpkin pie.
Absolutely no money goes to the chunkers.
All the pumpkin pie you can eat as well. Frank Shade, it really is a tremendous weekend. Hope that a lot of people get down there to Delaware to see this. Can't wait to see some of those cannons go off this weekend as well. This is something we'll keep following. Thanks for being with us this morning. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having us, and we appreciate the coverage.
Take care, Frank. We wish we were there. We both wish we were down there watching it in person.